What's good, Eagles Nation? This is Steve Hyder here with Gate City Sports Channel, and it's Hump Day. It's Wednesday, y'all. It's time to get focused. Eagles made a big move. That's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about the move the Eagles made on the defensive line, and I'm just going to give some thoughts and feelings about our defensive line in general. All right, let's get to today's topic.
We rocking today, especially on D. Hey, watch the front folks. Just watch the front folks. Hey, on front, we got to eat.
All right, y'all. You heard it straight out of Akeem Spence's mouth. Up front, got to eat. Eagles made a signing relatively quickly. They brought in Akeem Spence, somewhat of a veteran defensive tackle. He's still somewhat of a young guy, but I'm going to say he's like 27 or so. He was drafted in 2013 from Tampa Bay, 4th round, 100th overall pick. Kid's got talent. He played on one of the last fairly good Illinois teams they had. He's a 6'1", 302 pounder. And I'm going to get into a little bit about this kid, but the one thing you should know about this kid is we just brought in a very strong run defender. This kid's strong. He's going to be hard to push off the ball.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Scouting report on this young man. He's a very, very good tackler. He's a hell of a run stopper. He can penetrate into the backfield, although he doesn't really have the hand placement and upper body control of an elite pass rusher. So he kind of fizzles out a little bit as a pass rusher. He has recorded some sacks from that defensive tackle position though. So it's not that he can't. It's not his strength. He's very strong, as I was saying before. This is a kid that I want to say it was like the 2013 NFL Combine. He put up like 37 reps on the bench. He's strong. This kid's really, really strong. And the biggest thing I noticed is from the defensive tackle position, it's not ideal. It's really not ideal losing Malik Jackson because he's a elite talent. But this was a really good pickup because we still have two elite defensive tackles in Fletcher Cox and in Tim Jernigan. We have a very good pass rusher in Hassan Ridgeway for that defensive tackle position. And now we have a complementary guy who can rush the passer, although it's not his strength, but he's really good against the run, and Akeem Spence. So this was a really good pickup for the Eagles. I'm pleased at what they did here.
There was a report out there that Malik has suffered, as Lisfranc has done for the year. I don't expect you to confirm it, but obviously you're going to be out with him, be without him for a while. What does that do to your unit?
Yeah, we'll probably be without him for a while. Malik's an important part of what we do, and we'll certainly miss him when he's on the field, but we got plenty of guys that can step up and play, and that's nothing new in the NFL.
Well, following along with what Jim Schwartz said, when one man goes down, it's the next man up. And this is a critical time for the Eagles because this kind of injury could derail the defense, especially after a less than favorable performance from our secondary. And let's be honest, the first half of that game, our defensive line play was not very good. So it is a bit of crunch time for our defense here. I was a little perplexed when I looked at the active and inactive list from last weekend's game because we only activated 4 defensive ends in the last game. They left Deshaun off. Deshaun Hall did not play. I would kind of like to either, if we're not going to play Deshaun Hall, then we need to see something from Josh Sweat. And I've been a big supporter of Josh Sweat. I've even defended him against people who were calling for Deshaun Hall, saying, "Wait a minute, guys, it's not an apple to apples comparison because Deshaun Hall is playing against the better tackles." With that said, if he's not going to produce, it's time because we need to evaluate and we need to know what we've got going forward.
Did you see enough from their perimeter pass rush in this game? Would you like to see more?
Yeah, they'd like to. They were doing a lot of double chipping, and I think that really what we needed to do is we needed to cover better to be able to get the pass rush home.
That is that's an interesting take from Jim Schwartz. I don't know that I completely agree with him. His defense for our defensive line's performance on Sunday was the Redskins had committed to protecting their quarterback. and they were max protecting with running backs and tight ends, and that the coverage just didn't hold up. I think the inverse, or the other argument to that is well, how long are you going to ask your secondary to hold up? Because eventually, even the best quarterback's going to get burned if you ask them to cover for too long. And there were just a few occasions in there to where we brought the blitz, and there was just no backside help at all. And you just either there was a miscommunication going on, especially like if you look at the McLaurin 70-yard touchdown pass, because it looked like to me is that Rasul Douglas was playing like he was outside leveraging on that. And if you don't have any inside help, why are you playing outside leverage? So there's clearly communication. Either someone was supposed to drop back, a linebacker, or a faking, safety that's given the appearance of a blitz and he's dropping back. But if that's not the case, then you had a really, really poorly chosen your personnel packages, because you lined up your slowest defensive back against essentially Washington's fastest offensive wide receiver. So I don't know.
Played the Falcons once a year since you've been here and have held them in check pretty well. What's the common thread there, if any?
I don't know. Every game's different. Every game's a different set of circumstances. I think this is the first challenge that we've had on the road with the Falcons. It's a little bit like, every year it seemed like we were going to Seattle or Los Angeles and playing those games on the road. And, now we get Seattle at home this year. We do, right? Yeah. The Falcons is as far as I can get. But it is going to be a little bit different. They've been in a hostile environment. Now we're going down to a hostile environment, so we have to carry that over.
Picking up, I do agree with Jim Schwartz. We are going down into a hostile environment. This is truly our first road test. And this is going to be a pretty, excuse my language, but a pretty pissed off Atlanta Falcons team. They were not just embarrassed in their first road test in week 1 of the season, but they got manhandled. And not that this has anything to do with the defensive line here for a second, but if I'm Doug Peterson and I'm Mike Groh, I'm looking at what the Vikings did to them, and I'm going to try to get physical with this team. Because, there's a lot of other content creators out there for other teams that really think our team is soft. And I don't think we're soft at all. I think with Jordan Howard and this offensive line, we can impose our will if we want to. And, I think that's going to be a big part of relieving some of the struggles we might have on defense, especially against an offense that has as much talent as Atlanta. And Jim Schwartz does kind of go into the keys of the game as he sees it in terms of what we need to do from a defensive standpoint. I'll go into that.
Try to limit the run game, try to take big plays away. Stop drives on third down, win in the red zone. Red zone's been important to us the last couple of years with those guys, just to keep the score down. We'll have to do a lot better job playing the pass than we did a couple days ago.
As Jim Schwartz was saying, and I agree, one of the big things we're going to need to do, and this is on this topic of the defensive line today, is we've got to get pressure home. We've got to get off the field on third down, and we cannot give up foolish passing plays. We cannot have we can't have Julio Jones and Ridley and Sanu and Hooper, Devontae Freeman. We can't have these guys running wide ass open down the field because they're going to make us pay. Matt Ryan's not going to miss those throws. We've got to get home. We've got to put pressure on this kid, and we have a golden opportunity because their interior offensive line is in shambles right now. We've got a very good defensive line, and it needs to show. It needs to show really, really well on Sunday night. We really need to hit home to beat this team. All right, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, anyone else in between. That's all I got for today, y'all. I'm going to jump off of here, so if y'all can do me a few things for me. Like the video, share the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and leave your thoughts down below, guys. What do y'all think about this Akeem Spence signing? What do you guys think about our defensive line? What did you guys think about us only activating 4 defensive ends? Do you think we're going to activate 5 for this game? What do you think the keys are? This isn't really a keys to the game video, but let's start talking anyways, guys. All right, y'all. Peace. I'm out.